Hello, little witchlings and princelings, and welcome to your weekly Coven Summoning. My name is Ilsa.
And my name is Stacy.
And we're Caffeine and Conjuring,
a fantasy bookish podcast where we will discuss some of our favorite fantasy reads.
On today's episode of Selena's Torture Chamber.
Accurate.
Yeah. If you haven't already, make sure that you've read up to and including Chapter 19 of Kingdom of Ash. So nothing gets spoiled for you. And if you haven't read it yet and you don't know anything about this book, yeah, Selena gets tortured pretty badly. Sorry.
Yep. Yep. I feel like we're... some parts of this book is like, I feel like we're living in Days of Our Lives.
Oh, good lord.
Do with that as you will.
Is that Passions?
That's Passions.
Yeah.
Does that make Manon Tabitha?
If the shoe fits.
Aw, I miss Passions.
The Blue Blood Witch is definitely Beth.
Ugh. Oh.
Anyways. Last time we ended off, Selena just got through a little bit of a rough session, or I need to start saying Aelin. It is Aelin.
Yeah.
And she just got through a bit of a rough torture session with Maeve herself. And the scene ends with Fenris in his human form picking glass out of her legs.
After he just lost his twin.
Yes. Brutally. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My heart.
So, right in to chapter 10. The chapter opens in this kind of a battlefield chaos that doesn't care about titles, plans, or heroic speeches, just freezing mud, screams, and blood. Lysandra is in her ghost leopard form on the front lines, learning the hard way that war is messy and brutal and constant. No neat formations, no cinematic duels, just surviving one heartbeat at a time. The Bane holds the line in a snowy field that's been turned into a mud pit, fighting 5,000 of Morath's troops. It's only 5,000, the kind of phrase that sounds insane until you remember what else is coming. Adian chose the location and timing, letting Morath's forces march inland to the spot he wanted. Lysandra keeps doing what she does best, moving fast, killing efficiently, taking hits she can't always dodge. She's armored now, plated protection commissioned for her leopard form, and it saves her from the serious blows. Still, she's nicked up, bleeding, and running on pure instinct. They win, but it doesn't feel like a win. Adian knows it's a small victory against a small piece of Erewhon's army. No Ilkin, no Iron Teeth, no Wordhounds, just Valk soldiers meant to grind them down. The real storm is still out there.
That's crazy to think about, that this fight was literally just like
nothing.
Grunts.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
After the battle, Adian meets with Ren Alsbrook and the lords of Surya, Ravi, and Sol to assess the losses and decide what comes next. Their casualties are surprisingly low for what they faced, about 200 for Surya and 150 for Ren's flank. Thanks in part to the way Adian used the Bane to anchor the lines. The conversation turned strategic. Do they retreat to Orinth as Darrow ordered, or push south to meet allies and keep Morath farther from the capital? Ravi's all fire and impatience, arguing they should move south now and stop playing defense. Sol is calmer, more cautious, reminding them that Darrow's command matters, especially when war by committee is already making every decision feel like pulling teeth. Adian is stuck in that tension. He's fighting a war, but he's also fighting the politics of it. Then a messenger arrives with Darrow's order: move the armies tomorrow. The messenger is bold, a little cocky, and introduces himself as Knox Owen, a former thief turned rebel and Darrow's trusted runner. Knox confirms Darrow prepared for either outcome, carrying separate letters for victory or defeat. The order isn't really about logistics. It's Darrow making sure Adian doesn't march south without permission. Adian agrees to move at dawn. Later, he moves to the camp checking on the wounded soldiers, leading the way his uncle taught him. Lysandra finds him and offers to fly to Darrow to argue for rest. Their conversation quickly turns sharp. Adian accuses her of hiding behind Aelin's name. Lysandra fires back that she's doing what's necessary to keep the army together. She insists everything she did was real, to her at least. Adian can't face it, says something cruel, and walks away.
He's such a fucking baby.
Yep. Lysandra returns to her tent, exhausted, hurt, and resolute. The chapter closes on the reminder that even small victories cost more than anyone wants to admit.
She was so exhausted, she just dropped into her bed with her boots still on and just passed out. Ugh. But what a fun way to bring Knox back into it.
Yeah. I've been waiting.
Saying that for so long.
I've been waiting and waiting. Every time you bring him up, I just have to, look away and not have a reaction.
Ugh. I have learned that nothing is in these books by coincidence or I don't know, even the smallest thing seems to make a reappearance at some point throughout these books. Too bad my memory is shit.
Yeah.
So
same.
I don't catch a lot of it. Who's Erewhon?
Rude. Rude. But yeah, seriously, to my past self, what were you on while you were reading this that you did not remember who Erewhon was?
To be fair, once we find out that Maeve is bigger, badder than anything, I can definitely see why Erewhon would be swept under the rug a little.
But he's in every book past Crown of Midnight. Every book. And a huge part of every book.
Well, on the plus side, we're back with Chaol with this chapter.
Oh, yay.
And so I said this before we started recording, but I've noticed that the Chaol chapters in this book so far have been much shorter than they were while we were reading the tandem. It's Chaol's chapter would pop up and it was just a bazillion words too much. And now it's much smaller. So I think she has taken the feedback and sort of got to the point with Chaol's chapters. Although I have to say, they're good in this book. They feel fitting and it does bring the story along. So anyways, chapter 11. So this chapter puts Chaol squarely in command mode. Nesrin and Sartok confirm what they saw from the air: an army of 10,000 Morath soldiers marching inland toward Aniel. No Iron Teeth spotted yet, but the destination alone is enough to chill the room. Aniel is Chaol's home, as we know, and it doesn't have the forces to withstand a prolonged siege. The group debates their options, and none of them are good. Sailing up the Avery is too risky with Rifthold under enemy control. Going straight to Terracin could mean abandoning Aniel entirely. Hazar bluntly asks the question no one wants to say out loud: is saving the city worth the risk? Irene answers for Chaol, steady and unflinching: of course it is. It's his home. Sartok proposes a bold plan: march inland, avoid the river until Aniel is secure, then push north along the Avery while using the rucks to counter the witches at the Ferry and Gap. It's dangerous, but it offers hope. Still, they'll be late unless Aniel is warned. Kale volunteers to go himself. With a ruck and rider, he can reach the city in days and buy time for its defenses. Irene immediately insists on going with him. They'll leave under cover of darkness, racing not just toward an enemy army, but toward everything Kale left behind. His family, his title, and the city that may fall before help arrives.
And then we're into chapter 12, and we're back to the Queen's torture chamber. Aelin is back in the iron coffin, broken in ways that feel deeper than bone. She believes this is the end, that she has given everything for Terrasen and still failed. The Queen who was promised only to die. She stops fighting, lets the darkness take her, too exhausted to hope anymore. Karen taunts her from outside the box, sharpening his cruelty, planning on what comes next. But before he can break her again, something else breaks through. Her mother. Evelyn Ashriver appears in the darkness, not as a command, but as a comfort. She reminds Aelin of who she is, of her blood, of her heart, of her strength that has carried her this far, and she leaves her with one truth that ignites everything. You do not yield. That ember becomes a blaze. Aelin slams her fists into the iron coffin again and again, pouring every shred of pain, rage, and defiance into it. Fire answers, power answers. The coffin warps, smoke fills the air. Cairn panics. And for the first time, Aelin doesn't break. She pushes back. When she wakes, chained to the altar, the coffin is ruined, nearly torn apart. Far away, Rowan feels it. That surge of power rips through the mating bond like a scream. I am alive. He knows instantly. This came from the north, from Doranel, from her. The bond holds, but barely. Rowan sends his promise through it. I will find you. And as the power vanishes, he makes the decision they won't chase Maeve head on, they'll lure her out. Because Aelin has lit the signal fire, and now the hunt truly begins.
I just got cold shivers.
If I wasn't wearing a 20-pound hoodie, I probably would have got them too.
Fair. Chapter 13. We have Manon and the 13. Oh, chapter 13 and the 13. Easily amused. So they confirm what the spider promised, that the Crocans are still alive and they're here. Hidden above an ice-crusted mountain pass, they watch a Crochan camp below. 75 witches strong, red cloaks stark against the snow, brooms coming and going. This isn't a scouting party, it's a people. Manon brings them in openly, ordering no iron nails or teeth. This is not an attack. Tension snaps tight the moment they land. Weapons are raised, insults are traded. The Crocans know exactly who Manon is. They know she broke with her grandmother. They know the rumors. They definitely don't trust her. Dorian steps in, confirming Manon's defection and revealing himself as King of Ardalan. He makes it clear they didn't come to hunt, but to talk about everything. The Crocans hesitate, then lead them deeper into camp. There, an ancient witch steps forward, calm, sharp-eyed, and sorrowful. She names herself Glennis, once sworn to the Crochan royal line, and when Manon mentions Rhiannon, the truth lands like a blade. Glennis is Rhiannon's great-grandmother, and also Manon's. Ooh. So she does have family. And I like how they even, said how it was almost like it was a surprise that there were old-looking, Crocans.
Yeah, this grandmother is a good improvement from Grandma Blackbeak.
Yeah, so far, definitely. I mean, that's not hard.
Yeah, the bar is
really
very
not
low.
Yes.
So in chapter 14, the Crocans stand down because Glennis commands it. Manon is barely given a moment to process the revelation of her lineage before being pulled deeper into the camp, past witches cooking, tending fires, and living ordinary lives. Not enemies, a people. Dorian quietly supports her, offering strategy and presence in equal measure, reading the tension for what it is. This isn't a battle to win, but a trust to earn. Before anything can be said, the horn sounds. Iron Teeth Yellowlegs descend on the camp. 2 covens, fast and brutal. Chaos erupts. Crochan scramble into the air, Manon orders the 13 into defense, and Dorian finally unleashes his power. Ice spears tear through the wyverns, the 13 take the skies and dismantle the attack with terrifying precision. But Crochan's ordered to pull back, watch as legends prove themselves real. The fight turns brutal and personal. Dorian freezes when a severed head hits the ground, triggering memories of his own trauma. But when a wyvern nearly kills him, his power detonates. He burns himself into a living flame and survives by passing straight through the beast. When the dust settles, the Crochans accuse Manon of leading the Iron Teeth to them. Glennis demands truth. Manon swears she didn't. But Damaris goes cold. Dorian knows she lied. The camp begins to tend to its wounded, alliances unsettled, and blood still warm. Whatever this meaning was meant to be, it has already changed everything. Sneaky little Manon.
Mm-hmm.
Da, 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 da.
Manon.
Oh, I'm gonna miss Manon. Not Manon
Yeah.
in this book, not my D&D character, because we played D&D there last Friday and we all died! Yay!
TPK!
New campaign! Goodbye, Manon.
Yeah. We'll just have to bring some Throne of Glass back into it again. Somehow. I don't think there's any fairies that I could name my character after.
Farah.
Not yet. Okay. Chapter 14. And what? Is this the 3rd chapter in a row that's
15.
Manon? What?
15.
Oh, 15? 15. I forgot to scroll. But still, also another Manon chapter. Manon accepts what she is, liar, killer, and likely both again, and feels no regret for baiting the Iron Teeth to the Crochan camp because it forced contact. Still, the cost hits. 8 Crochans are dead. She decides she'll learn their names. The 13 spend the night hauling Yellowlegs and wyvern bodies to a ridge to be buried under snow, since the ground's too hard and pyres would give them away. Dorian stays quiet in that icy, condemning way. Manon notices and doesn't apologize. At dawn, Glennis makes them eat at her central fire as a trust test. Manon eats the goat stew. Dorian follows. Glennis explains Manon's lineage. She was Tristan's grandmother, Tristan being Manon's father and the sole carrier of Crochan blood after Manon's mother vanished. Believing them dead, Tristan was asked to couple again to preserve the line, and Rhiannon came from it. Glennis also confirms Rhiannon's mother was killed years ago by Yellowleg Sentinel, and Manon feels unwanted relief. Glennis recounts how the Crochan line survived the Witch City siege. Rhiannon faked a stillbirth to hide the last Crochan princess, and Glennis's mother smuggled the baby out while Rhiannon went to her death fighting the High Witches. Glennis names Bronwyn as Manon's closest cousin, but Bronwyn and others reject Manon outright and refuse to fly to Terrasen, bitter that Terrasen never helped them 500 years ago. Manon tries blunt logic. Morath will find them again, and a sharp jab, but it doesn't win them. Dorian finds Serene? Was that how we were pronouncing the spider?
I think so, yeah.
Serene. Questions her shifting and uses his magic to probe her, discovering she's Valg by nature, not by possession. He keeps his face neutral, then kills her cleanly, grips the stolen seed of human magic long enough to study it, and it fades free, and incinerates her into ash and a black stain. He intends to find a way into Morath once he masters shifting. Ooh, Dorian is getting real, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Like, badass. Like, jeez. That night, Dorian and Manon share a cramped tent.
Hot.
Yay. She scents what he did. He confirms it and refuses to moralize about her luring the Iron Teeth, saying they both did what they had to. Manon asks how to play the Crocans, and Dorian says they hold all the cards, so she must find what they need and use it, like Aelin did with the Mysidians. He urges her to ask Glennis. The tension breaks into lovemaking / not lovemaking. It's very,
yeah.
It's much more
Lusty.
primal than that.
Yeah.
Heat and oblivion instead of speeches. In the morning, Manon confronts Glennis. Glennis reveals the key. Only a Crochan queen can ignite the flame of war from the royal hearth, an eternal flame Brandon once gave Rhiannon, which winked out when magic vanished and reignited when it returned. But Manon must be accepted as queen to use it. Then Glennis drops the final twist. The camp is en route to Eelway because their southern hearths warned of a threat, and the Crocans gave their word to meet surviving warbands there. Manon argues it could be Morath's diversion and that Terrasen is the true fight, but Glennis won't break their vow.
And in chapter 16, we switch back over to Aedion. The army finally reaches Darrow after a brutal, punishing march through the snow and wind, and Darrow is already waiting on a hill like he hasn't just ordered thousands of exhausted soldiers to haul themselves there. Aedion reports the victory at Eldris, less than 500 lost, and Darrow's calm approval only sharpens the irritation simmering beneath Aedion's skin. Darrow orders a meeting at dawn and dismisses the army's exhaustion entirely. Aedion rides back furious, already planning to refuse further movement, and makes one important decision. Fake Aelin will be coming to the meeting. By morning, a fresh foot of snow has buried the camp. Lysandra, sleepless and tense, heads into Darrow's war tent alongside Ansel, fully stepping into her role as Aelin Galathinius. The tent is packed with Terrasen's lords, commanders, and allies, all studying a map that makes one thing painfully clear. Morath's forces are clogging the south, cutting off aid, and tightening the noose. Darrow opens by pushing for the retreat to Orinth and a defensive siege strategy. Aedion immediately pushes back, arguing that retreat signals weakness and isolates them from southern allies. The debate ignites fast. Darrow and several older lords dismiss warnings about witch towers, questioning the reliability of Manon Blackbeak and treating her intel as manipulation. Lysandra holds her ground as Aelin, firmly stating the towers are real and refusing to gamble Orinth on skepticism. Ansel plays political chess for her, suggesting Aelin's firepower is being deliberately withheld to keep Erewhon uncertain. Aedion reframes Eldris as a deliberate test by Morath meant to thin their numbers and lure them into complacency, arguing the border gives them terrain advantage and flexibility. Others counter that retreating to Orinth offers stronger walls and safety. The debate stretches on until Darrow forces a vote, only among Terrasen's 6 lords. The result is decisive. 4 vote to retreat to Orinth, 2 vote to hold border. Darrow declares the decision final and coldly, tells their allies they're free to leave if they disagree. Instead, the allies stay. Prince Galen commits Wendelin fully, refusing to abandon Terrasen. Prince Endemine follows, honoring his oath to Rowan and hinting that Terrasen may become their new home. The Silent Assassins and Ansel also pledge themselves without hesitation. Darrow bristles at the loyalty directed at Aelin, but it's done. The coalition holds. Then the room shifts. Nox returns with a message from Eldris, and the moment the man steps inside, Aedion and Lysandra both recognize him as Valg. The stranger smiles and delivers Erewhon's regards. And then he unleashes a blast of black wind straight at Aelin.
Dun, dun, dun. Chapter 17, chaos erupts inside the war tent the moment the Valg messenger attacks. Lysandra barely avoids the full brunt of the blow, taking a shallow wound to her arm before Aedion is in front of her, sword drawn, defending his queen without hesitation. The Fey royals, Ansel and Ilias, react instantly, pinning the attacker with magic and steel as Terrason's younger leaders close ranks around Lysandra. The image is unmistakable, a court forming around its monarch, while the older lords scramble for cover. Old fucking men, see? The Valg doesn't flee. Instead, he laughs and then notices Lysandra's blood. The realization hits him mid-breath. Shifter. Before he can say more, Lysandra orders his execution. Endemine begins to crush him with magic, but not before the Valg sends a silent message down a dark bond. Aelin Galathinius is not here. Aedion ends it swiftly, severing the man's head and confirming what they all now fear. Erewhon knows the truth. Once again. Afterward, the camp reels. Aedion spirals between fury and calculation, already understanding the implications. Erewhon, knowing Aelin is absent, could force a reckless strike, or provoke him into revealing his hand. Lysandra, shaken but resolute, voices the fear neither of them want to name. Orinth will become a slaughterhouse if they follow Darrow's plan. Aedion makes his choice. They will not go to Orinth. Instead, he outlines a bold, treasonous maneuver. Sol and Ravi will peel off to secure the coast and regroup with the Wendellinian fleet. Galen and the core forces will march south to the border, together united defying the Lord's vote outright. Aedion doesn't flinch at the word treason. He's lived in it long enough to know how to wield it. The final piece falls into place when Lysandra encounters Nox Owen. He knows. Or at least he knows enough. He recognizes the truth behind her disguise and reveals his own past. Rebel, thief, and competitor in the Glass Castle, and quiet ally of Selena Sardathian. He swears loyalty, not to Darrow, but to Terrason and to Aelin. When Lysandra asks if he'll help them risk everything, he agrees without hesitation. Of course Nox would... the moment that he wouldn't have gotten a reaction out of Lysandra Aelin,
yeah,
he knew that that was not Selena.
Yeah.
And I love that. And how he was still like, nope, I am,
Yeah.
I'm yours.
Yeah.
Command me. Tell me where to go. So that night, the coup unfolds without bloodshed. Nox laces the wine of Darrow and the three dissenting lords with a sleeping draught. Nox, you cheeky bugger. Their bannermen are subdued the same way, aided by the quiet coordination of Ansel, Galen, Ren, Ravi. I thought it was Ravi, but I think when I was listening to the audiobook, she was saying Ravi.
Oh.
But... and the silent assassins. By dawn, the lords wake to empty snowfields. The army is gone. Terrason's fate is now in the hands of those willing to defy tradition, law, and fear itself.
And in chapter 18, we're back with Cale and Irene, and they're arriving in Aniel on a rook, landing atop Westfall Keep without fanfare or welcome. The fortress looms cold and brutal against the mountains and Silver Lake, built for endurance, not comfort. And its neglect becomes painfully obvious as they pass through shadowed halls and threadbare tapestries. Irene immediately understands why this place haunts Cale. It isn't just a home, it's a wound. When Cale demands to see his father, the authority in his voice surprises even Irene, but Lord Westfall offers no warmth in return. He doesn't rise, doesn't greet them properly, and wastes no time reminding Cale of his past injury and supposed weakness. Cale introduces Irene as his wife, which earns only brief interest before his father dismisses her lineage and takes a cruel swipe at Selena, now revealed as the Queen of Terrason, implying Cale failed by not keeping her. Irene doesn't flinch. She meets Lord Westfall's disdain head-on, asserting her worth without apology. When Cale explains they've come to warn Aniel, the mood finally shifts. Morath is marching, 10,000 troops, bound for the city. The Rukan scouts are already on their way, but the bulk of the southern forces won't arrive in time. Aniel must prepare now. Lord Westfall admits he has no army strong enough to stand such force and resents Cale's return after abandoning his title. It's Irene who cuts through the bitterness, revealing the full scope of Cale's accomplishments. The alliance with the Cognate, the healers coming from the Torre, the armies crossing the sea. If Aniel survives, she tells him coldly, it will be because of his son, not him. I love this scene. She was so badass in this scene.
Oh my god, yep. Made up for the Assassin's Blade. Tenfold.
And the Assassin and the Healer. Oh, yeah. And,
yeah, that's what I mean.
And Tower of Dawn.
Oh, Tower of Dawn, yeah. Yeah. She had some really good moments, though, in Tower of Dawn.
Yeah.
It wasn't
enough to...
No.
I was rage reading towards the end of it. When things got good. The truth cracks something in Lord Westfall. He admits he never knelt to the Valg. He had suspected something deeply wrong before Rifthold fell. His cruelty towards Cale, twisted as it was, came from fear. Fear of losing his eldest son when war finally reached the gates. Still, when Cale suggests calling on the wild men of the White Fangs for aid, Lord Westfall refuses outright, clinging to pride and old hatreds even as annihilation looms. Irene bluntly suggests offering anything if it saves lives. Lord Westfall mocks her, but she remains unmoved. They leave with no reconciliation, only a warning. Prepare the city, or be buried beneath it. And as Cale walks away, it's clear. Blood may bind them, but it won't save Aniel.
Chapter 19, our final chapter for this episode. Cale and Irene are given a small, modest guest room in Westfall Keep. It's warm, but clearly not meant for a lord's son. The slight doesn't surprise Cale, but it enrages Irene, who is still shaking with anger after meeting his father. Cale brushes it off with wary humor, reminding her he was disowned long ago. But Irene is blunt. His father is far worse than he ever described. Still, she praises Cale for standing his ground, and he admits she was nothing short of brilliant. Despite everything, the city has begun preparing for a siege. Evacuations are already underway, and the keep buzzes with grim purpose. Cale knows rest is necessary after days of flying through brutal cold, especially for Irene, even if she won't admit it. When he apologizes for his father's cruelty, she turns the sympathy back on him, furious that he ever had to endure such a man. They talk quietly about what lies ahead. Cale explains that Aniel is far wealthier than it appears, with vast treasure hidden beneath the keep, but wealth won't save its people. Irene worries about the lack of healers and the brutal reality of evacuation in winter. Cale admits there are no good options. Fleeing north, south, or east all court disaster. But hiding in the Fangs or Oakwald may give them some chance. Many won't survive. He promises to send older soldiers with the refugees, guides who know the passes. Irene immediately begins thinking like a commander, offering to organize space, supplies, bandages, and healers for those who remain behind the walls. Cale sees her clearly in that moment, not noble by birth, but by character. When she says quietly and bravely that it's time to prepare for war, the fear in her eyes finally cracks him. War can wait one more night. He pulls her into his arms, choosing comfort and connection before the storm breaks. At dawn, the sky fills with rucks, so many they blot out the pale sun. Their arrival sends panic rippling through Aniel, a grim preview of what's to come. The massive birds settle on the plain by Silver Lake, a place long debated for its vulnerability. Cale watches, knowing that breaking the ancient dam to flood the plain would devastate the city as much as any enemy. That option remains unthinkable. Nesrin and Sartak arrive with grim news. Morath's army is only 3 to 4 days away. Falcon, scouting as a falcon. Falcon the Falcon. Saw Valg and human soldiers, fast, vicious, and relentless. No witches yet, though they may strike from the Farian Gap when the assault begins. Irene surveys the 1,000 rucks below, once a miracle, now looking frighteningly small. The war is almost here.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my god. There was like no break at all. Like this book started and it was just like, torture, war, hatred.
Yeah.
A little bit of from Dorian and
And
Manon.
some people who like to hate on Kingdom of Ash are like, oh, it's so slow. Nothing happens till like the last 200 pages. It's like, did we read this?
We just literally read the first like 19 chapters plus 2 of the prologue chapter thingies. And shit happened in every single one of those chapters.
Like there was 2 battles and all the torture. Like what more do you want in the first 20 chapters of a 100 and something chapter book?
Yeah.
Idiots.
They're loco.
Hey Bella, where you been, Luca?
Oh my god. I should have suggested that for our February book club book. That should have been my suggestion.
No, I like the idea of suggesting our next side quest episode, because that's killing a couple birds with one stone.
Yeah. It's very smart. Are we gonna start like hinting to our
We could
next
drop
side
a
quest?
hint. I know nothing about the book. I have not read the summary of the book.
No,
I know
haven't
literally
either.
nothing.
The only thing I know about it is it's her debut fantasy.
Okay.
And she is very well known for her contemporary romances.
That's a good hint. We'll add that it came out in 2025.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your hint.
Yeah.
Because that's as much as we know.
Literally. Our next hint will be a little more on the nose, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited where this book is going.
Yeah.
Well, not excited. Not excited. But I'm... The adrenaline, is going.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, our endings aren't going to have as much discussion as they have because it's very hard to not spoil anything while having any discussion in this book. So, unless you have anything you want to say that I will have no response for.
All I'm going to say is if Nox dies, I riot. Just saying. I waited so long for him to come back, and if he just like...
Is he your favorite character?
So that is... I am not saying that. That is a cursed sentence. I'm not saying that. I am being very careful from here on out when I use that F word. But yes, that's it. My adrenaline is like going like crazy. Like I'm so excited to see how it's all gonna play out. And like Aelin is, she's still channeling her like power. I know they're like drugging her, but man, I'm so excited. And now Rowan knows where she's to. So I am very excited to be privy to his plan now, how they're going to lure Maeve out.
Well, before the next episode, make sure that you've read up to and including chapter 29 of Kingdom of Ash. And we will see you next week. The conversation is getting too far into me wanting to blurt things. So we gotta cut it. Huh. Bye.
Toodles! And with that, our coven summoning comes to a close. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
And follow Caffeine and Conjuring on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date on our journey through Throne of Glass.